Last video, we showed you how to install these awesome LED lights in your kitchen cabinets. Today, we're gonna automate them with this, the new Aqara FP2 Presence Sensor. It is magic. Flawed magic, but magic nonetheless. Let's get into it. Hey, this is Pete, the new DIY smart home guy, making life a little brighter, one LED strip at a time. People are saying wave presence sensors like the new Aqara FP2 are the future of home automation. And those people are not wrong. They are pretty sweet. These sensors use millimeter waves to detect presence, not just motion. So unlike traditional PIR motion sensors that will shut off your lights if you stop moving even if you're still in the room, wave sensors use radar technology, and they're constantly bouncing high frequency radio waves throughout the room that can detect if anyone is there, even if they're just sitting still. So no more of this hand-waving nonsense to keep your lights on. And supposedly, all of these radio waves bouncing around your house will not cause a third arm to grow out of your forehead, so that's a plus too. There are a few of these millimeter wave sensors out there, but this Aqara FP2 Presence Sensor is generating the most buzz. Is it perfect? No. But it's a pretty big step in the right direction. So let's give it a quick review, then I'm going to show you how I use it to automate my kitchen LED lights. So what do I like about this sensor? First, detecting presence versus detecting motion is like comparing driving a car to riding a horse. You'll wonder how you ever put up with this crap in the first place. The presence detection with this device is very fast, almost instantaneous, moving both in and out of a zone. Unlike motion sensors that have a cooldown time and will leave lights on for a while after you leave a room. It's really sweet. Zone detection is a huge plus for the Aqara FP2 Presence Sensor. Unlike motion sensors that detect everything in their field of view, the Aqara FP2 allows you to set zones of detection. Now this is especially useful in a large open area like a kitchen. In fact, with my one Aqara FP2 sensor in the corner, I'm using it to detect presence in essentially 3 different rooms. So while this presence sensor is not cheap, it can replace multiple motion sensors, so it's kind of a bargain in that sense. My friend Brian at the Automate Your Life channel has a really detailed tutorial on setting up your Aqara FP2 sensor and creating zones, so I'm going to set a link to his video so you can learn all about that. Now in addition to presence detection, this sensor has an illuminance sensor which you can also use as part of your automations. And if you mount it on the ceiling, it can detect falls as well, so maybe when I'm 85 I'll give that feature a whirl. Mounting the sensor is very easy. It comes with this metal plate you can screw into the wall, and then it just sticks on there with a built-in magnet. Or it can also fold up and sit on a shelf. It's very versatile. So why isn't this perfect? Well, it does detect ghosts some of the time. Maybe 5 to 10% of the time when I leave a zone, it will still think someone is in there for some reason. Sometimes the ghost disappears after a little bit and then the lights will turn off, but other times the ghost gets stuck. Now you can go into the app and eliminate a ghost, and supposedly doing this helps the sensor learn what is and isn't a person. I will say that doing this has improved the issue, but it has not eliminated it completely. Also, rooms like kitchens have a lot of potential interference sources that, again, you can mark those in the app, but they can still linger and cause some issues. Second is placement. This device really does perform best if you adhere to the recommended height. Now, I found corner placement works much better than placing it on the middle of a wall, but that also makes mapping out the room in the app a little bit more awkward. Corner placement can also be an issue because the sensor has to be plugged in all the time. Now, being plugged in all the time can actually be a plus if you have a convenient place to plug it in because you don't have to worry about changing batteries and all that. But if you don't have a convenient place, you're stuck with an unattractive cord that's really not good for spousal approval. You can see how it looks here with the cord dangling here. I will probably have to find a way to run this cord through the wall and then out to an outlet if I have any hope of actually keeping it here long term. Finally, compatibility with this device is a little bit limited for now. This is a Wi-Fi device and it is basically only compatible with the Aqara Hub, Alexa, and HomeKit. If you want to use it in Home Assistant, you'll have to connect it via the HomeKit integration. To connect this to Hubitat like I'm doing, you'll have to create virtual devices in Hubitat, then add those devices to your Alexa or HomeKit, and then create routines in HomeKit or Alexa that flip those virtual devices on or off based on when the presence sensor detects presence. Then you can go back into Hubitat and create automations that are triggered by those virtual devices. Easy peasy, right? Now this should, in theory, get a lot easier when both Aqara and Hubitat are Matter compatible, but I'll believe that when I see it. The last thing that was a little tricky about the Aqara FP2 is it took a while to dial in the zones. It's basically just a case of trial and error. You got to set the zones, adjust them, set them again, and adjust them till you get it the way you want to. If you're patient, it's fine, but I'm not, so it was a bit of a frustration for me. So let's see the sensor in action, eh? Now, by using this in conjunction with the LED lights in the cabinets, we can set up all sorts of automations based on the time of day. Let's start with the middle of the day. If you walk into my kitchen in the middle of the day, nothing happens. Just the way I like it. So let's move on to the early evening. If you waltz into the kitchen after 5 o'clock, you're probably getting dinner ready. So even if it's light outside, we're going to turn the middle row of LED lights to a white color just to give you a little extra light for meal prep. If it's after 5 o'clock and after sunset, we're going to turn on the LED lights and the main overhead lights too. Moving to later in the evening, at either 8:30 p.m. or sunset, whichever comes later, we're going to trigger all of the LED levels to turn on to a random color at about 40% brightness. This just adds a little ambient light for the house. And this ambient lighting will stay on until night mode kicks in. However, if the Aqara FP2 sensor senses someone entering the kitchen zone during that time, it will turn the under cabinet lights white. Then when they leave, the LED lights all go back to a random color. Like magic. So finally, when night mode triggers, the LED lights turn off. From then until day mode triggers again, if someone enters the kitchen zone, only the toe kick LED lights will turn on and just bright enough to guide me to the cookies. From day mode until sunrise, the middle LED lights will turn on white when presence is detected. If you want to see how the LED lights are automated to get my kids off to school in the morning, check out the video in the corner, one of these corners. In addition to automating the kitchen LED lights, because the Aqara FP2 allows you to create zones, we are also using it to separately automate the light over the kitchen table and the lights in the entryway. And based on the performance so far, I'm thinking there's a lot more of these sensors in different rooms in my future. So far, all of these automations are working swimmingly, but I have learned the hard way that whenever you automate something, if you want to reduce potential marital strife, always have a backup plan. So, before I automated the LED lights, I added a Pico remote as a wall switch next to the kitchen light switch. It's wireless, so I can mount it anywhere, and because it is connected to my hub, I was able to program the buttons to do whatever functions I want. That said, this is not a time to be clever. If you have a button like this that looks like an on button, make sure it turns the dang lights on. Same thing for this off button. I also programmed the up and down arrow buttons to raise or lower the brightness when you hold them. So those are your basics. But these Picos have separate functions for press, hold, and double tap, so we added some additional functionality that's not quite as obvious. Tapping these 3 buttons will toggle the top, middle, and toe kick lights individually. If you double tap on any of these buttons, it will change the lights to a specific color. And if you double tap this middle circle button, it will change all the lights to a random color. And of course, because the LED controllers are connected to the Philips Hue bridge, you can control them with the Philips Hue app. And last but not least, if your smart home has gone completely sideways, you can always shut off these LED strips by pulling the plug. So many options. So those are my thoughts on the Aqara FP2 motion sensor. It's not perfect, but again, it is a huge leap up from the PIR motion sensors we're all accustomed to. This mmWave technology, it is the future, and I know it's just going to get better and better as more of these devices come out. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't be afraid to like it or even subscribe with the fancy buttons below. And if you have ideas of where I should try out presence sensors in my house, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you want to see me do some stand-up comedy, I will be headlining the Laugh Boat based in Hudson, Wisconsin on Friday, October 13th. Check out the link below for details. See you next time.